right, it's a beautiful Saturday morning just before college football kickoff. My name is Dana Donovic. I'm sitting here with our resident industrial metal expert and lord of lithium, Rob McCammon. I'm on my second cup of coffee and eager to discuss one of the most exciting lithium companies in the market. I'm, of course, speaking about Standard Lithium, who today we are going to break down why lithium is so important, the demand and the future, and China's dominance, but also what is direct lithium extraction, the proprietary method, why is it better, and Standard Lithium's location in the Smackover Formation, and finally, its market cap and why people should really care about this stock. How about that for an intro?
That's good, man. This is your thing.
All right, Big Rob, why is lithium so important? The demand, the future, what are we looking at here? Why should we care?
In the short term here, we're already starting to see amazing negotiations as EVs continue to build up. We're seeing ramp ups by all the auto manufacturers right now. Ford is a great example here of they're trying to meet their demand. We're also looking at the possibilities of the fact that China's also building up. Europe is coming with a looming desire for zero emissions by 2025. This makes for the need to have lithium now. And there's really not that much out there.
It's only coming from so many places, too.
2019 was really bad in the lithium market. 2020 followed up with a year of interruption, right? It was no different in the lithium market. And so 2019 and 2020 capital expenditures to develop new lithium really wasn't much out there. So this meant companies that when we decided we desperately wanted to put out to make cars, the U.S. needs 300,000 metric tons
to meet the demands of EVs.
Right. And that by 2030, we're at 5,000 metric tons, and that's by the big dog ALB. They have a mine in Nevada. That's the only one right now that's active.
The only one domestically that's producing
yes,
it.
Only domestic. Otherwise, you're coming out of two places. Western Australia, that's the actually biggest deep pit mine at Green Bushes. Then the other one is in the lithium triangle of Chile, Ecuador, and Bolivia. Most of that is immense, huge ponds where they're pumping brine out, pouring it out into these ponds, and then letting the sun evaporate.
So which takes a year, right?
Yeah, it takes nearly 9 to 12 months to evaporate all that, and then you come in. It's absolutely an environmental nightmare, and it's also kind of messing with their water tables because that brine does push up the usable water, which is not much there anyway. So there's several environmental problems with that. We're looking at
why we're talking today, because we've got a new player that's come to the field. They're domestic right here in Arkansas. They've got a commercially viable product. It's proprietary process, patent pending. Mm-hmm. You want to tell us why Standard Lithium is the new pretty girl on the block?
They're the prettiest girl on the block. Right now, they got a product. The buzz term is DLE, direct lithium extraction. So where I said about the Argentina and these others where they have these immense ponds where they're evaporating the water. In Argentina, in South Arkansas, they've been already taking out the brine. They pull the brine out of the ground. They pull out bromide, combine that with chlorine to make bromine, which is a very useful chemical product. But now they pump that back into the ground. Couple of years, beginning of the year, late last year, I had thought, somewhere back in high school or college, I remembered that lithium was in brine. And so I started going, well, there's like the remnants of an ocean that was bigger than the Atlantic at the time. The Atlantic was pretty much a wide Gulf area, not even as big as the Gulf of Mexico at the end of the dinosaur period. and there was a huge sea there. And in that sea, it's gone under the ground, and that's called the Smackover brine field.
And we're talking,
And
folks, right in the heart of America, right where Standard Lithium's located. I mean, the region for lithium.
right, it's from basically East Texas up through Arkansas, all the way covering all of Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, into Georgia and parts of Florida, and then
Sounds like a
all
small
into
piece of
the
real estate.
and all into the Gulf of Mexico. The offshore drilling for oil is this is all known as an oil area. The reason it's an oil area is there's a brine field, the Smackover brine field, pushing up the oil. So inside that, when we really understood a lot about brine in 1920s, we would drill down, and as they drilled down, they would find that if they got to water, the seawater, when it started coming up, and it was nasty, it made people sick. But when it would come up, they knew they needed to pull back up a bit to pull the oil out. So over time, they were just spraying it out on the ground, and it was killing all the vegetation. It was an environmental nightmare. But what wound up happening is in Kilgore, they decided, you know what we're going to do is we're going to pull that salt water out, and then in another area, we're going to pump it back down into the ground, therefore pushing the oil up to get higher yields. And that turned into the Kilgore oil strike, which really took oil down to a nickel a barrel at one point. But the takeaway here is that during this time, we started realizing there's a lot of stuff in brine, and
A lot of rich minerals.
right. So in the late 50s in South Arkansas, they started taking that brine and making bromine. Now, where Standard Lithium comes in, they came up with a way that as that brine comes up, they could take that brine out after it's gone through having the bromide pull out of it. They'll take it and now extract the lithium that's very rich in there and make lithium carbonate. And they also make lithium hydroxide and a lithium chloride. And with that, then
Battery grade lithium.
battery grades lithium, and then they send it back into the ground.
Environmentally friendly, and everything that all of the other miners and extractors aren't doing.
Their footprint is about the size of a small grocery store
Compared to like hundreds of thousands of acres.
I hope, add the graphic here of South America. If you look at those fields through there, you can tell. I mean, look at it. It's amazing. That's thousands of acres you're looking at. And then they're going to come through after this and take trucks and payloaders and just scoop the dirt that's now rich in lithium. And then they have to go through another lithium purification that you're looking at here.
So that's lot of
8
touch
or 9
points.
months. Well, it's 8 or 9 months for the sun to evaporate that water.
Whereas I think Standard Lithium, their process is like 8 or 9 hours.
8 or 9 hours. And
so 8 or 9 hours or 8 or 9 months. That
right.
sounds like a game changer to me.
It is very disrupting. And the beautiful thing about this is it is located in the middle of car country. Tennessee, for example, yes, I'm sporting it. We're playing today. But the fact is Tennessee is the per capita one of the highest, if not the highest, automotive jobs in the country.
And this is also in the Smackover formation.
That's right. Well, no, we're above the Smackover formation. But think about this. Ford just announced in Memphis that northeast of town, they were going to have a 6,000 acre Ford complex where they're making batteries, they're making the cars, everything in line. Then another 3 hours up the road, you have Microvast. Another 6 hours down the road, you have Volkswagen. There you have Tesla, the Giga Austin, which is about 4 hours the other way.
Yep.
You're looking at a major lithium manufacturer right in the middle of their market. And to add this, one of the things I like about this is how hard is it to actually get it from market? There's established railway systems in town of El Dorado, which is where this company is. So they're already able to put in to get that on the rails and ship it to customers everywhere that's needed. You're looking at a company that is ready, just to own a whole big, huge sector. Now, to start to sum this up and why I think people should notice this, they will make 22,000 metric tons as their initial target for per year. 22,000. And Dana, do you know what's happening with the lithium market right now?
It's gone vertical, Rob. Vertical.
I'm going to use a number here that's going to kind of blow your mind.
Blow it. Let's see it.
At $24,000 per metric ton, they're going to start off making have a revenue of $538 million a year. This is a scalable project, right? Their market cap is just over $1 billion. Show me right now a lot of companies that are actually trading at 1.8 of their market cap, and that's of right now's market cap.
Yeah,
we've seen almost a 10% rise in lithium prices since the beginning of August. So my numbers right now are only probably going to go higher because the world's not making a lot of lithium. We needed a domestic source of lithium. This becomes the nation's biggest domestic producer with a flick of a switch, because Albemarle is not as big as this. Second, they can act that field, they know that brine. So you're looking at a company who has expandability because they know the product. One thing I want everyone who's watching this to walk away with is brine is a collective term. It is not an exact chemistry. Just as anywhere else, during Earth's history, what made up the oceans and everything else changes with time. So that brine's chemistry of Smackover is unique. That makes Standard Lithium exceedingly well placed because A, it's a huge brine field, B, it's domestic, C, it's scalable. We're already having oil operations, which are and bromine operations throughout South Arkansas and Louisiana, so you can capitalize there. I think in a lot of ways we're looking at a company here whose growth is I can't even imagine.
Well, and like you said, the demand is now. We need lithium now. And lithium, or Standard Lithium, has the potential to vastly reduce the recovery time of extracting lithium from brine from as long as a year, with the conventional evaporation pond processing, to just a couple hours here, which is, it's remarkable. We're talking a huge advancement.
When Piedmont Lithium's Gaston County operation comes online, that's spodumene, it's going to be 10 metric tons. And we're looking forward to it. Thacker's Pass is 10 metric tons for over 49 years.
So these are other domestic operations that aren't even, operating yet.
Right. But I'm telling you right now, this one is if the potential's there, we're waiting to hear the last, that everything's signed off and we're in production. That's all.
They have a commercially viable product. They've already proven it. They've got everything established. They're basically ready to hit the green light. Yes.
I love this company. I have loved this company since I found it. They became SLI. They were STLHF. They're out of Vancouver. I got to speak to Robert Mintak yesterday on the phone. We're going to try to get Dana. We're going to try to talk to him. You and I we need to get people.
Well, anyone watching this and learning about Standard Lithium for the very first time, I've got to give credit where credit's due. Rob brought this to me months ago. We started talking about it. We saw an incredible opportunity to start a whole new podcast just around industrial metals, with Standard Lithium pretty much at the center of this. So I'm grateful for the journey that we're just starting here, and couldn't be more excited for the future of Standard Lithium. Rob, do you want to leave our audience with any final points?
Yeah, do the look. don't just take it my word on it. This stuff is out there. Go out there and take a look at it. And it's absolutely, if you're into dinosaurs, you'll run into dinosaur studies. You'll run into lots of geology. But you'll walk away from and going is, why haven't we been doing this the whole time? And if we're really environmentally safe and we want to put cars out there on the road that are helping the planet, then this is the way we want our lithium. Small footprint, clean, with lower OPEX. I mean, to the amount of money it takes. This is incredible. We're going to need to do another video at some point. Cut that.
Yeah, of course. Don't worry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. We're going to have to do another video. Cut that.
We'll add some bloopers, right?
Yeah. We're going to need to do a video favor on about some of the other brine projects. There's 2 or 3 to know about. Salton Sea in California, that's called hot brine, and that has its own issues. The Vulcan project in Europe, another hot brine project.
Yep.
Which has geothermal, and it's had some earthquake issues. And finally, the Bolivian brine project, which I think is probably going to wind up being somewhat similar to what we're seeing in South Arkansas. But right now, in flight, the one that will be production first and will be successful is this one, Standard Lithium in Arkansas. I love the company. I hope you guys do too. But don't take my word on it. Go follow it. If you like what you're hearing here, double check me. Double check me. Okay. Because in all honesty, it's your decision, not mine.
Well, and you know what? I encourage everyone to reach out to Rob on Twitter. Ask him questions. He's always engaging with people. That's how I met him. And quite frankly, you know, this is just the beginning of our coverage. We are the biggest advocates and brand evangelists of Standard Lithium, so there is more coverage to come. Also, make sure to follow Charge Talk, our little podcast on industrial metals. Rob puts out a weekly Tuesday Lithium report. It's a comprehensive synopsis of everything going on in our little index that we got going. And give us feedback. We want to continue to drive value for our followers. And just thank everyone for their interest in this.
Thank you,
Make it a great day, folks.
Go Vols.
Welcome to the Standard Lithium Lister Demonstration Facility. I'm Will Smith, the project engineer. We're located here at the Lanxess South Bromine Production Facility, about 10 minutes from El Dorado, Arkansas, which happens to be my hometown. Behind me is our facility that is 100 feet by 100 feet, 3 stories tall, with an external control room and laboratory. The Lanxess facility here has been producing bromine for over 50 years, using brine and then pumping it back in the ground. We've since been able to tap into that. We bring it up to our facility to extract the lithium, and then we send it back for redisposal into the aquifer. Before we go inside, I want to give you guys a look at our metering skid. All of our utilities flow through this device. We have processed water, dilute hydrochloric acid, and our brine flow. It's all monitored, and we can see what's going on in our control room. This is the beginning of the process. Lithium-rich tail brine enters our facility from Lanxess, goes through a filtering process where we filter out any inorganics, then it moves into the heart of our process. The now filtered brine moves into the loading stage at about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. It's mixed with our absorbent for about 10 minutes. The now barren brine leaves the loading reactors to go back to Lanxess for disposal. Our now loaded absorbent moves on to the washing stage. Our now loaded absorbent moves into a 3-stage washing process. Here we remove any excess brine that may have been left behind. The slurry is also thickened up to prepare for the stripping process. So now we're about an hour into our process. We filtered the brine, we loaded it in the loading reactors with our absorbent, and we washed the absorbent off. Now it's time for stripping. In our stripping reactor, we add a dilute hydrochloric acid, which then produces a lithium chloride solution, which is ready for polishing. The lithium chloride solution has now been stripped and comes into a final polishing stage of the two ion exchanges right here behind me. This is our final product tank, where we have now captured an ultra-pure lithium chloride solution from the lithium found here in South Arkansas. Now we're ready to go to the lab to check out the results. With our plant running 24/7, we have an on-site lab to support the production. We're able to test not only our product that's in process, but our final product. Normal processes take months to produce a quality-grade lithium chloride solution ready for lithium carbonate production. Well, we were able to do it in a matter of about 6 hours. So this is the end of the tour, guys. Thanks so much for joining us, and glad you got to come see the plant.